Hello and welcome to my first fantasy football video of the new Premier League season. So in this episode we are going to pick my fantasy football team for the season and hopefully it's not going to go terribly. So I'm doing this on the Premier League's website. I always do the Premier League's fantasy football. I will create a league and I'll drop the link to join in the description down below. If you want to join, come along, see if you can beat me. You probably can, because I'm generally not very good at these fantasy football things. It takes me a while to get into it. Generally, pick my team at the start of the season, and then after a couple of games, I've used my wild card and got rid of almost everyone. But we'll see how it goes this year. So if you've never done it before, you can choose up to 3 players, as it says here, from one team. You've got £100 million to spend. You pick 15 players, so that's 4 subs and 11 starters. So let's get going. So we'll start off with goalkeepers. Now in goal, you don't want someone who's going to be for one of the top teams that aren't really going to be making any saves. Yeah, they'll get clean sheet points, but they won't get any points for their saves and stuff. So you kind of want someone middle of the ground. There's a bit of a conundrum here because I'm looking at Alphonso Areola of West Ham, but is he going to play? Is he, like, they've got him in on loan from PSG. Is he going to play? Because they've also got Fabianski. Surely they've not brought Areola in to not play. I'm gonna leave that. I think that's too much of a risk for the first game of the season. We'll see who they do start in goal for the first game. But I'm now looking at Nick Pope. Is Nick Pope's been injured, hasn't he? Pretty sure he has. He must be back now. But Burnley, who have Burnley got first game? Brighton, I think that's going to be 0-0, so he could get a clean sheet there. Could be a few saves for him as well. So we'll stick Nick Pope in. He's always good for quite a few points generally in the fantasy football. And then as our backup goalkeeper, don't want to spend too much money. We want to get as cheap as possible. Now it'd be good if I had sorted this by price rather than anything else. We could get Darlow, 4.5 million. We've got a few 4 millions here. Ben Foster at Watford. Have Watford brought in another goalkeeper? Bachmann. Interesting. Okay. So I don't think any of these are gonna start really. I'm not sure about Brentford's goalkeeper. Who have they got? Is that their starting goalkeeper? Gunnarsson? Maybe not. So I'm gonna pick Carl Darlow, Newcastle's goalkeeper. I do think Newcastle are gonna win against West Ham. I do think that they're gonna get a clean sheet. But also he's quite cheap. And he's probably going to play as well. So if anything happens with Pope, at least we've got Darlow as backup to possibly get us a few points. So we've spent 10 million already, and we've still got 13 players left to purchase. So we'll head to defence now. This is where you want the players from the better clubs, I would say. The teams who are more likely to keep clean sheets. And if you can get a wing back or a full back that's going to get a few assists as well, that is just extra cherry on the cake. Now Alexander-Arnold, I feel like everyone's going to be getting Trenty boy. He is a good shout, to be fair. 7.5 million, he's the most expensive defender available. But I've sorted it now by points from last season. So there could be some cheaper options in here. Just looking through, I think Luke Shaw's a pretty decent shout. He had a decent Euros. So we'll stick Shaw in, 5.5 million. It's nice and cheap. Alexander-Arnold still shouting at me. Robertson, of course, is injured. How long have they got him out for? 12th of September. That's quite a while. I'm not sure. We'll come back to Alexander-Arnold. I think Lewis Dunk's a pretty decent shout from Brighton. He does get himself some goals as well as obviously being in defence and hopefully keeping a clean sheet against Burnley on the Saturday. But he's quite cheap as well, 5 million. I do think we need to get a player from City as well. So we're gonna go for Ruben Dias. Probably the best centre-back, £6 million, pretty decent price. And looking again at players who I think can get assists and possibly goals, Lucas Digne from Everton, the left-back, he is coming into the squad as well, 5.5 million. And then now, because we've saved a little bit of money with Dunk and, well, mainly with Dunk, got 68 million to spend, got 9 players to get. I think we're getting Trent. I think we're bringing Trent in, 7.5 million. I can change it, might change it. Well, we'll see how we get on with midfield and attack, but that is currently the defensive situation. So in midfield, midfielders get hella expensive compared to defenders, but I guess that's understandable. Now, a Leeds player wouldn't be that bad a shout, I don't think. Jack Harrison's pretty decent. Ward-Prowse from Southampton as well, but he looks like he's a bit of a doubt for he's got a 50% chance of playing. He's got a knee injury. So maybe not this week for James Ward-Prowse. I think we're going to put Jack Harrison in as our first midfielder, 6 million, pretty cheap for midfield. So we've got 7 players left, 54.5 million to spend. I don't want to get too many of the higher priced players, I don't think. Ilkay Gundogan, 7.5 million, that seems a bit of a steal. I'm gonna stick him in the bag. We're also gonna stick in a few of the newcomers to the Premier League as well. I'm quite tempted to stick Buendia in, but he's only got a 75% chance of playing. So I might go for Leon Bailey instead for Villa. And then we're going to head to Wolves and we're going to get in Trincao as well. Yeah, Barcelona, former Barcelona player. I think is he on loan? I think he's on loan at Wolves. I think that's pretty decent. We've got 34 million left to spend on 4 players. So I think we go for the more expensive midfielder now. So we need to choose which one we want to go with. Quite a few options. I generally have Salah in my team. For the past 3 seasons, I've had Salah in my team. I think that's got to continue. So Mo Salah is in the bag. We've got 22 million to spend on 3 players, and I know one striker that I want, and that is Patson Daka from Leicester. So there he is, 7.5 million, Patson Daka in the team. We've got 14.5 million left to spend. We're going to put Danny Ings in, who is obviously now of Aston Villa, and then we've only got 6.5 million left to spend on another striker. Ooh, Ivan Toney. He can get goals. Brentford are playing Arsenal. I think Brentford might get 1. Is Toney going to be the man to get it? He could be. Tammy Abraham, not going to go with him yet. We don't know what's happening with his future. He could be going elsewhere. Timo Pukki, Norwich, he had a decent little run of things in the season before last in the Fantasy Premier League. He's an option. Adam Armstrong, Southampton's new striker. He's probably going to be their starting striker, I would imagine. I'm drawn to Ivan Toney. I'm going to put Ivan Toney and we're going to have a Brentford player in our squad. So that is our squad, I think. I'm quite happy with that. We've spent the full 100 million. It's a bit balanced. We've got a couple of players that are guaranteed points pretty much in Salah and Alexander-Arnold, but the rest of them, I'd say, of maybe Ings as well, guaranteed points. But the rest of them, it's a pretty risky pick, I think. I can't imagine many other players have got these players chosen as their first game week team for the fantasy football. So we're going to enter the squad, and I need to pick a team name. So for the team name, I've made one up. Ibrahim Konate is Liverpool's latest signing. So I've gone with I Konate Believe It. Shoot me in the comment section, please. Someone just end it. It's horrific. Favorite club, obviously Liverpool, and we go. So we need to pick our captain for game week 1. Who do we think is going to do the best out of this lot? And also we need to change our squad up a little bit. So we want Trent to be in the side, and we definitely want Salah to be in the side. So who are we going to sacrifice? I'm going to sacrifice Bailey for Trent, and then Trincao for Salah. And another thing that normally happens with Salah, don't think it happened as much last season, but the season before, I had Salah captained for pretty much the whole season. I thought I was just scared that anytime I took him off captaincy, he might start to do well again. But I need to try and be a bit cleverer with my choice of captain this season. But saying that, I think Liverpool have got the easiest of ties, so I'm going to go with Salah as captain. And as it's just the first game week of the season, I don't think we're going to play our bench boost or triple captain just yet. Although triple captain is a little bit tempting with us playing Norwich, and we generally do quite well against Norwich, scoring, I think, 4, sometimes even 5 goals against them. Salah's done pretty well against them in the past as well, I think. I think it's too much of a risk to play triple captain on the first game week though, so we'll just leave it as it is. I'll design my kit and everything a bit later on. That's not important. So I've just created my league. Right now, I thought I'd show you the code to join on camera. So the name of the league is Nobody Will Join, because I don't think anyone will join. It's currently pending moderation, just to check that I've not said anything naughty in the name of the league. But if you do wish to join my league, here is the code, and just go ahead and join it. Join me. So that is it for this first of what will hopefully be many fantasy football videos this season. I will be back next week with a rundown of what happened with my fantasy team in game week 1, and we'll look to see if we need to make any changes in game week 2, or if any of our wildcards or bonuses need to be played. But that is it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get all my content when it comes out, hit the notification bell to stay notified. Let me know in the comment section your chosen fantasy football team for the season, and see you next time.